that was just a little example of using the advanced arpeggiator and scatter function here on the Roland System-1. So the scatter knob is over here. As you see, there's 10 different types that you can select through, and they all do different things. As you turn the scatter knob to the right, it adds intensity to the sound. And then as you turn it to the left, it takes intensity down. And you notice as I turn the scatter knob, some of these parameters start flashing. That's because depending on the scatter type that you have selected, it will adjust different parameters on the synth at the same time. So you have one knob to control not only the pattern that's being played, but also the parameters and how they're being adjusted. I love to just hold down some notes with the arpeggiator turned on and play with the scatter knob. I get lost in the synth for hours just playing with that one control. The System-1 is a 4-voice polyphonic synth with 2 oscillators per voice, and one of the things that I really like to use it for is as a replacement for some of my old analog synths. My first synth was a Roland Juno 106, and I use it a lot for pads. It sounds great, but it's an old, fragile synth. I don't want to take it gigging with me. The System-1 is compact and very light and can do some similar type sounds. Plus it has some extra functions, like I mentioned, 2 oscillators, individual envelopes for both the filter and the amp, plus built-in effects like reverb, delay, and the bit crusher. So I'll just give you an example here of a sound that I would use the System-1 for in a live situation to replace a Juno 106. The System-1 is perfect for what I like to call the bedroom producer. The type of person who does most of the work in the box and has limited space. First, the System-1 is small and compact. It can fit on most desks. Next is the integration with the computer. Now, the System-1 has something called a Plugout, which consists of 2 parts. The first part is a VST or audio unit plugin that you host inside your DAW. You can use the System-1 as a controller and make all the adjustments you want on the System-1 itself, and you see that happen in the DAW. You can create a track using the VST in your DAW, and when you have that track completed and you want to go perform live, you just click on the Plugout button and it loads that Plugout with all your settings into the synth. Then you can disconnect the System-1 from your computer, take it with you to your gig. When you arrive, just press the Plugout button and it loads up that Plugout with all the same settings that you had in your DAW. So I'll just press the Plugout button here and I'll load up, in this synth I have the SH101 Plugout, which if you buy the synth before June 2015, then you get that Plugout for free. And you'll notice that some of the lights have gone off. That's because these controls don't apply to the SH101. One of my favorite bands is Boards of Canada, and they're well known for using the SH101. And I'll just show you a little sound here that's similar to something that they would do. But what they did with the SH101 is they ran it through a reel-to-reel tape machine to add some extra character to it. But we can do that right here, all within this synth. So I'm just going to add a little bit of pitch LFO, triangle wave, now you can hear the pitch wobbling up and down. I will also add a little bit of noise. There you go. Now the combination of noise and pitch LFO creates something that sounds very typical of Boards of Canada. The SH101 Plugout, being a mono synth, is very good for both bass and lead sounds. give you one last demo using the Arpeggiator and scatter function, but this time using the SH-101 Plug-Out.